So I had a chance to play Forza Horizon 6 early, and a huge shout out to Microsoft and Xbox for letting that happen. But in today's video, I want to talk about what I love and hate about the Forza Horizon 6 map. Now, of course, this is a fun video, but there is also some seriousness to it. And before I even get into all those details, I want to give you a quick disclaimer on my thoughts about this map and some topics that some players have been discussing this on social media. One of the first things is that Forza Horizon 6 is actually, to be fair, a good map. Now, I'm not really a full 100% Forza Horizon player, but I can admit to you that the map is still very good and I do get some enjoyment out of it. Of course, there are some things I love and hate, but nonetheless, it's a pretty good map regardless. But one of the reasons I can enjoy the map despite having some hate on it is that I can accept the direction of the game, and not just of Forza Horizon, but of any game, and I can understand why some things are developed the way they are. Now, there's some toxicity in the community regarding this whole ideology behind this, and I think that it's actually one of the toxicities that are kind of ruining the open world and just racing game scene in general. And I'm going to quickly recap this, but in another video I'll expand on it. But the idea is that no game is going to be able to appeal to you 100%. There's always going to be something that you don't like about a game that is done that way on purpose for the other players, and more likely the majority of the players. So when you have the idea that, oh, you know, if I don't accept this direction or this idea of this game that the devs are providing us, I think this game is shit. Or more importantly, the player who thinks that, it thinks that if they do accept the change, it's them bending over for the dev or publisher. And because of that toxicity, it makes you think that things are much worse than they actually are. Now, what I mean about this is how I've seen a lot of people talking about on social media the issues with Forza Horizon 6's map, mainly being the lane width, as well as the pedestrian and traffic density compared to real life Japan and Tokyo. But just to reiterate a little bit more, there are wide roads in Forza Horizon's map, and the direction won't change in Forza Horizon regardless of the location. Even if they picked Japan, whether they picked Canada, whether they picked Hong Kong, whether they picked Australia, Indonesia, Singapore, anywhere, guys, the road width would not change because it's something that goes with the directional DNA of what Forza Horizon actually is. But I will admit, there is a good variety of road widths throughout the map. I mean, the thing is, people pick a couple of clips and say, okay, wide roads, but then there are some really tight and dense areas of the map which don't have these wide roads, and they're actually pretty fair. Of course, you can just about squeeze your car in depending on what car you're driving, but in all honesty, it's not as bad throughout the whole map as I think people are making it out to be. Which, again, like some areas, like even the 2-gay roads, there's going to be people drifting. They're going to widen the 2-gay roads a bit just for the drifting gameplay. Not everyone wants to be packed dense in traffic with pedestrians running over pedestrians. Like, there's reasons why a game is a certain way. We just have to accept it sometimes, because mind you, even pedestrian and traffic density, sometimes it's not just limitation, it's just a design and even licensing choice. When I say licensing, if pedestrians walking around, I'm telling you guys, licensing is a tough thing. Even if some of the manufacturers will say, okay, yeah, we allow it, how the pedestrians jump out the way, how they interact with the guys, it's very specific. And for all you know, some car brands will actually say, bro, if you have pedestrians walking around the map, we can't be in your game, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take some cuts, and that's honestly my biggest thing that I've learned in game dev. Is it opens your eyes when you work in game dev. It opens your eyes on the challenges of developing a game, the reasons why something is developed a certain way, licensing. Honestly, I feel humbled the fact that I used to be able to go to a store like EB Games or GameStop, pick up the disc and put it into my console or PC, whatever, and just not have to think about any of the work that went into that game. And by the way, guys, I'm not saying that you need to accept everything that's wrong in a racing game. Some things can be changed or adapted to help improve the player base being pleasured, because of course there's always going to be different types of players. The easiest example here is progression. For example, we've been asking for an improved progression in the Forza Horizon game. They improved it for the players who've been asking for it, so now we have to work our way through the races with slower cars until we get to higher ones. But they still kept the quick money and the progression where you can still buy all the cars. You know, they still kept that, so both people are happy. That's an easy ultimatum. There's even things like the road width. In some areas of the map is quite tight, and some is quite wide, so there's always variety to help, you know, please both sides of the community. But you can never please 100% of one side, because it means you don't have a direction, and it's impossible, guys. I mean, as they say, a game for everyone is a game for no one, and it's impossible to please everyone. So there's going to be some sacrifices and some unhappy people, but that doesn't mean the game is all of a sudden the worst game ever. But that's just the quick disclaimers. There are some issues which I have broken it down into, and I'll go into that in more detail. But let's talk about what I love and hate, 5 things for each of Forza Horizon 6's Japan map, starting off with the what I hate. Now, of course, there are many ways to section what I hate about Forza Horizon 6's map, and I'll be honest, there are some things that I personally don't like about this map that I know the devs and Player Games and even the Forza Horizon community themselves will not really care about, and that's because it's outside of the direction. That's why I'm going to classify it. But the first 3 things are actually within the actual classification of what Forza Horizon can be or should be. So one of the first ones is the train track reset. Now this one is a bit iffy because, to be fair, it could be for a reason outside of the means. What I mean by that is when you try to take the train tracks into the Tokyo city, you can't, because you'll actually get reset. Now this is an issue because there's so many overhead train tracks you'll see when you drive through Japan, and if you use drone mode, there's so many beautiful tracks. And if I'm honest with you, Horizon is marketed as a open world sandbox arcade racing game. Of course, you're like, why would you drive on the train tracks? Because it's a Forza Horizon game. That's it. If you question that, you also have to question why you can drive through the map, destroy every tree in sight. You also have to question why you can do massive jumps off buildings and race fighter jets. And guys, it's a Forza Horizon game. Of course, people want to drive on tracks. I wouldn't do that in other games, but in Forza Horizon, yeah, of course, why not? But anyways, that could be because there's some limitations in terms of Japan culture or stuff like that. The zero accident thing, how Japan's portrayed, there's so much things that could be behind the scenes of that, even licensing. When I tell you guys, licensing is a difficult thing in racing games. Truly it is. But this track reset thing, if it isn't an issue with any of the cultural differences or the licensing, I would really hope that this is something fixed for the launch of the game. Now, the other thing I hate about it is just a bit, well, not really a hate, but a dislike, or a wish I should say, is I wish there were more density areas outside of Tokyo. Now, Tokyo, guys, I also talk about it in my love section, but it's a massive city, one of the biggest cities Forza Horizon has ever had, and it's beautiful. Honestly, they've recreated Tokyo really well. It has all the landmarks you'd expect to have inside Tokyo. It's a dense city. There's many pedestrians behind, not walking pedestrians, but pedestrians behind actual fenced areas. Some of them have animations so you can see them doing stuff and walking around, which on that topic as well, when you leave Tokyo, you can kind of see some dead areas on the map that I think should have been a lot better. And that's also going to tie into my thing about the overall road network design, which I'll get into a bit later, but it's also outside of the direction per se. But I feel like they could have done a little bit more density in some of the other areas outside of Tokyo, just to keep it lively as you transfer between Tokyo to the northern area of the map, then going west or going east and heading back south again. I think there are some areas that are a bit dead, and I mentioned that to you guys also in one of my earlier videos when I drove around the whole map. But honestly, that one's not really that serious. But one of the most serious ones, and honestly, I don't know why I put this at point 3, because it should be point number 1. It's single-handedly the hardest and most annoying thing currently on the preview build. It was traffic. Traffic is, now I know some people are gonna be like, yo, it's because there's not enough traffic, right? No, not really. To be honest, I get it. In Tokyo, maybe you can like increase the density of traffic a little bit more, not to the point where it gets unplayable, because remember, at the end of the day, Forza Horizon is a game, an arcade game at that, speeding through Tokyo at high speeds. You don't want to have it too dense for gameplay purposes anyways. But the thing with traffic in the preview build is that they don't really obey the traffic lights. Sometimes they just run reds, and as you drive through Tokyo, and even if you ever green, you have to brake. But the worst part about all of that, regardless, is the traffic don't seem to be aware of your position. And I say that because even when you're on the highway, they'll merge directly in front of you with no indicator. So again, I'm going to count this as maybe it's a bug that they'll fix for launch, but like they really have to focus on traffic, because right now, bro, it is not my favorite part. You can't really cruise in that sense as well, because traffic is cutting you off. The indicators, they just don't assume you're there, and it kind of sucks, because it makes you feel like you're a ghost. Like no one knows that you're in the city, and you're not really going to notice it that much in videos. But maybe if you see some of my videos, you'll see some accidents that happen as I'm driving around through the city, and cars are cutting me off or running reds or not stopping when I approach an intersection or stuff like that. You start to feel like you're just not immersed into the world itself. And traffic and how traffic behaves around you, I think, is a very important thing in a racing game, even at that Forza Horizon game. And I think that's within the direction of what Forza Horizon should improve on. But those are just really my three things that I dislike about the map, that are, I would say, are like within the direction of what Forza Horizon is. But now let's talk about things that are outside the direction. The first one, well, point 4, is too many breakable objects. Now, I get it. There's a reason behind this, because it's a Forza Horizon game and normally you could always do this. And there is literally a viral tweet right now, I'll put it up on the screen, of someone doing this. Guys, and the thing is, because of the well, Forza Horizon, first off, is a massive game by like a massive player base, especially when you look at Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation and Xbox and PC. There's a lot of players, and that is just a casual racer, guys. It's not trying to appeal to a set of Corsa fans. It's not trying to appeal to test drive fans. It's just arcade sandbox racer. So you flying through the map not caring at all is exactly what you'd expect in a Forza Horizon game. Now, I think that's stupid, and I think it's like I hate that we're enabled to have that possibility to just go through the map like no tomorrow. But I understand why it's like that, and understand why the devs did that, and I know the community also don't mind it, and some actually like it. And that's where I can accept the direction of the game, but that doesn't mean I'm bending over for the devs or publisher. That's the toxicity I'm talking about. It's done a certain way, and me accepting it isn't me saying, yeah, you know, that's a shill thing. Guys, that's not really how it works. I feel like that toxicity is what's carrying stuff down, and I'll explain that in a later video as well anyways. And on top of that, the fifth thing I want to talk about really quickly is the overall road network design. This one is a bit iffy. I feel like it's slightly that could be improved for a Forza Horizon game, but some of the issues is that there's a lot of like circular bends around the map. There's actually someone, I think, that covered a video on this, and some people think he's crazy for this video. They think, bro, too many circles on the map, what is he fucking talking about? No, he actually has a fair point. There's a lack of 90-degree and hard turns in the Forza Horizon 6 map that helps immerse you a bit more in the routes of you're taking, because obviously there's two things that can really bore you in way while you're cruising or driving. And then if you just have some light turns that don't really have you slowing down to a very large speed outside of Tokyo. Of course, Tokyo is going to have some corners and 90-degree bends and stuff like that. But outside of that, and of course, we're not counting drift or 2G roads, they're not going to have 90-degree turns in 2G. But apart from those roads, they're just circles everywhere. There aren't really some really weird turns where like the turn will get tighter or looser as you go around the bends. It's not really based on like real life road network design. apart from the ones that they've recreated from Japan straight into the game, like Akira, I think is one of the 2K routes. I'm not really too well versed in Japan culture and road network design, but I think you guys will understand what I'm saying in terms of the road network and how there's too many circles. It's very vague, but I think if you can understand what I'm talking about, you might be able to. But maybe I'll link that guy's video in the description below, because he's not crazy. But again, this is done simply because Forza Horizon is supposed to have a fast-paced game. Now, it's an arcade racing game with many fast cars, many cars in general. And while you're driving and doing races, these circle bends are good for gameplay. It means you can go around the bends quickly, can travel around the map quickly. It's just something that makes sense for a Forza Horizon game. So that's why I mean it's a bit outside of the direction of what I would expect. But honestly, what I hate about the map, out of all those 5 things, is really not that much, especially if you're considering that point 1 about the track reset is probably just a cultural thing, so you can knock it off the list if that's true. The density part is probably the only one that can carry weight that they won't fix for launch. I think the map is done, and when it's done, it's done. And then there's also the traffic not really obeying rules. That could be a bug, and that could be fixed as well. So really, I don't really have that much to hate about Forza as a map. It's not a map I would love to immerse myself in, but it's a map that I could enjoy myself in, and I will be playing Forza Horizon 6 at launch anyways. I'm really excited for it, and I had fun in the preview build. Of course, it's not gonna be my most played game, I'll be honest about that, but I will definitely enjoy the game and for everything that it's worth. But now let's talk about what I love, because this, honestly guys, there's a lot of stuff I love. Really quickly, this clip that I'm gonna show you guys right now is, I remember driving this and seeing this live. Honestly guys, it was a beautiful view, and I had to admit, Playground Games did a really good job about the location choice. Honestly, when Japan was announced, and I think everyone was kind of thinking it would be Japan anyways, I was a bit worried, because Playground Games, especially after Mexico, that map was ass, I'll be honest with you guys. But after Mexico, I had no faith that they would do Japan justice. Not in the Tokyo City, not in the outskirts, not the location. Honestly, I knew it would have been ass. But not only did I would say they delivered on the location, I think they exceeded my expectation for what the location was. They did a really good job, and that's one thing I love, is they really turned around, especially when you consider the maps that we had in the whole Horizon franchise. I mean, Forza Horizon 1 in Colorado, Forza Horizon 2 was the southern Europe, I think around France and Nice, that region, and Italy, something like that. I'm really trying to remember, but that was a really beautiful map. Then you went over to, of course, Forza Horizon 3 in Australia. It was an okay map. I didn't really get to play that game that much. It was only 1 and 2 that I played really that much. Forza Horizon 4 I got back into a lot though, and Forza Horizon 5 I tried to, but the map was just so garbage, guys. I can't even believe you could have done so much better with Mexico, but that's a whole nother story. But Japan, they smashed it, and I will say, if there is a Forza Horizon 7, it's gonna be tough to beat this map design, and I don't know how they'll do it, in all honesty. But yeah, the location. The other thing I love is this city. It is single-handedly the best part of a Forza Horizon game of all time, and this is why I say this map is up there with the greats of all the top open world racing game maps that we've had in the last 2 decades. It's really good. Tokyo City is faithfully recreated. A lot of the intersections and buildings you'll be able to match up to real life. They did a really good, guys, Tokyo's a massive city. To shrink it down, you have to understand, to shrink down a city, have your level designers and environmental artists come and do the level building, the dressing up. Honestly, it's so good. I have to give them massive credit on the recreation of Tokyo City. You can really immerse yourself in it. And remember, as I understand, it's 12-player groups in Forza Horizon. At least it was in Forza Horizon 5. The cruises, I can already imagine people doing 12-player cruises around Tokyo City. And with 12 cars, even if there's not really that much traffic, I promise you, you'll make the map feel packed regardless. So that's just my thoughts. First 2 things I love, the location and Tokyo City. The third thing I love is seasons. I feel like not that many people have talked about it, but seasons is a very underrated thing in the whole Tokyo map and Japan map in general, because it changes the map a lot. There are some areas on the map, and we only had access to spring in the preview build, so I didn't get to see summer, winter, or fall. But you can really, like, each season you'll really see the map change, even for some areas of the map where it's like a wall of snow, because that's how much snow you get. And guys, it looks crazy. So I never got to see that, but I know that when the map changes within seasons, it's going to be like driving through a whole new map. I do wonder what the city will look like during the winter, and like the snow on the buildings or the ice and stuff like that. I'm really curious to see what that's like. But honestly, I think they did a really good job adding seasons back into the game, to the point where you have those beautiful different designs of the vegetation, the actual road layout itself changing with the walls of snow. It's crazy. I think it's a really underrated feature, and when we actually get to immerse ourselves in it, it's going to be a really loved feature. I'm pretty happy to see it coming back. I used to hate it for Forza Horizon 4, but honestly, after understanding it, I can see why they did it, and I can see why they added it back. It was definitely missed in Forza Horizon 5, although there weren't these seasons really that much. The fourth thing I love is Legend Island. I think this is a crazy feature, and this is coming from a test drive fan. As you guys know, there's an Easter egg in Test Drive Unlimited 1. It wasn't actually active in TDU 2, and I don't know why. But the thing was, when it wasn't anything to do with progression, but essentially you could go to this secret island called Eden Island, and you could drive around it. It was a really small island in all honesty. You could just drive around it. It was just a lap. But you could teleport there, and then yeah, that's basically it. I think there was supposed to be some endgame stuff, but yeah. The point is, this now is tied to the progression. So when you get to the end game, you unlock this island, and it looks crazy. There are some images here up on the screen that I found from some other YouTubers. I realized there was a drone mode, which I knew, because normally you have to go to the settings to go to drone mode. I realized it's with Anna. It's because Forza Horizon 4 you have to go through settings, and Forza Horizon 5 I think it was Anna, but guys, I don't really use Anna that much in all honesty anyways. But yeah, Legend Island looks crazy. It has a dedicated track, which some portion of the track actually goes off to the like sea view, and then you also have some driving roads around it. You have a beautiful bridge to get to it as well. And I'm really excited to see what this looks like when it actually arrives in the game at launch. Of course, you got a long way to get there, and you guys know I'm gonna speed through the progression of Forza Horizon 6 when it comes out. But Legend Island, I think, is a really good concept on how you can evolve a new area within the progression of the game. So love that feature, really cool. We didn't really get to see much of it, but as we get closer to launch, I think maybe Forza Horizon will reveal some gameplay of it, or maybe even on the launch trailer. Last but not least, though, is the highway. Guys, I might say this is the best highway system. Like, again, this map is up there with the greats anyways, but the highway system is pretty damn good, honestly. It has the merges correctly, it has your signage, it has the lane width. And this is where I am a bit mixed bag. The lane width at some points are really thin, and some of them are really wide. I can understand why this is done, because at some points, especially if you're cruising with 12 people or whatever, you need to be able to lane split. Of course, you know, guys, this isn't Assetto Corsa, and I'm not going to expect this to be Assetto Corsa. Forza Horizon is built off a massive casual player base, and when I say casual, I mean the amount of casuals that play this game are not on social media. So you'll never hear people say, "No, I love wide lanes. I love wide lanes," because they're just not on social media. Like, that's how big. I think we're underestimating how big Forza Horizon is of a game. Because you can see a tweet with 3K likes saying the lanes are so small. I promise you, that's 1% of the player base, if even, bro. You can see that. You can see it have 100,000 like views on that tweet, and I'm telling you, that's still 1%, if even, of the player base. So, like, in all honesty, it's a minority. But I understand why they made the lanes wide. But there's a lot of variety around the map in terms of the actual lane width. But I already talked to you guys about this earlier on in the video. But that said, highway is really nice. The whole loop around the island or map itself is really good. inside the city is complex, it's complicated. You have all of the faithfully recreated areas of the actual highway system, both Rainbow Bridge, then the inner city, then by the port. Guys, honestly, even the car meets where you spin up, man, I gotta admit, bro, they did really good on the highway. And for the first time of like ever, we got a massively proper, like, this isn't like half-assing a highway system. We got a massively proper highway system in Forza Horizon 6. And even Don Juan Song posted this video, and guys, man, it truly looks like TXR, or like even the sense of speed looks a little bit improved in this game too, to be honest. Not like crazily, but just enough where you're like, okay, I could deal with this. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Forza Horizon 6 map, guys. So overall, honestly, it is the best map to ever be in a Forza Horizon game of all time, and it's honestly, I would say it's up there with the greats. I understand why people are asking for the small roads, the larger traffic, the more pedestrians, but you guys also gotta understand that it's there and it's this way for a reason. Apart from the bugs that I mentioned that are within the direction, at some point you have to understand that it's just there because of the player base. And honestly, accepting you're a minority of the player base is the best thing you could do. So it is what it is, and this doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden bending over for a publisher or a dev because you're accepting you're a minority of the player base. It doesn't mean that the game is ass all of a sudden, because you know what I'm saying. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on the Forza Horizon 6 map, guys. If you're a Forza Horizon fan, like, final review, you're gonna fucking love this map. Even if you're not a Forza Horizon fan, I think you can get enjoyment out of this map, even though there are some issues, because again, that's another thing. I know some people talking about the wide lanes and all that will still buy the game day one and put 1,000 hours in it. It's social media, guys. It is what it is. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video, guys. If you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe for more Forza Horizon and other racing game content. You already know what it is. I'm Alex7, and I'll see you guys in another video. I'm out, guys. Peace.